Hey, welcome back to the CommonGround North Dakota podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Jen.
I've been a chef for 10 years.
And I'm a registered dietitian. We've all heard the saying, farm to table. But what if the conversation was table to farm?
Join Jen and I as we sit down with ag experts to dig in and find out more about North Dakota agriculture. All right, welcome back to CommonGround North Dakota.
Yeah, welcome back. We're excited to start another show. Last time we had 3 farm daughters.
Yes.
Pasta that we talked with.
They were fun to talk to.
They were, and it was really interesting, just the family dynamics there and their different expert levels and what they did.
They all found their niche. They managed to work it out.
It just kind of happened, right? And I loved their products. So then, of course, I go back and I'm menu planning, right?
Okay.
It's like my menu planning season for sports. And I'm like, hey, do we already use 3 farm daughters? They do.
Oh, my goodness.
So I was able to actually build them into performance plans.
Oh, great.
I know. I was so excited.
Getting more fiber for your athletes. That's perfect.
Although I had to time it appropriately. I'm like, maybe not. Let's not do it on this day before game day. Let's maybe put it earlier in the week.
You have to think about those things.
Right. And I maybe don't want baked beans with the high fiber pasta. That might not be good either.
Too much fiber.
Yeah, too much. But
okay, so speaking of family agricultural businesses in North Dakota, we've got another one today.
Yes. I'm excited because, what goes better with pasta than some gelato and cheese?
I can't even. I almost brought in, I thought we should do affogatos this morning where you put the ice cream in your coffee.
Oh.
But I accidentally ate all my gelato that I had at home. So
bummer.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe
next time.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But we have Maartje with us from Cows and Creamery. Welcome.
Welcome, Maartje.
Yay, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're really interested in your whole journey to Cows and Creamery and all your products, because Heather with her chef background and me with my dietitian background. I mean, we have lots of questions, of course, involving food. However, we do want to hear about just your journey. How did this become a thing and how did you get to Carrington and start this? What was your process like?
Yeah, very good question. I am originally from the Netherlands, so a really small country in Europe. And we milked 50 dairy cows there. And the Netherlands is really small, so my parents wanted more space. They wanted to grow their dairy herds, so we actually ended up moving to Canada, and we milked about 150 cows there, and then they wanted to expand again, so we ended up in Carrington, North Dakota. So that's the journey from the Netherlands to Carrington.
Okay.
And how old were you when you moved from the Netherlands to Canada?
I was 7 when we moved from the Netherlands, and then 13 when we moved from Canada to the U.S. So I've been in the States since I was an 8th grader.
Okay. And you're...
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of been crazy living in 3 different countries already, but it doesn't really feel like I've done all that in my life. But good choice for my parents. They wanted more opportunity for the kids, and that's what they provided. So we're really grateful to be here. I've always wanted to be a nurse. Ever since I was a little girl. So when I graduated from Carrington High School, I went to UND for nursing. So I graduated with my nursing degree.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a very different career path than what I do now. But obviously growing up, we would go back to the Netherlands quite often to visit family. And there's lots of gelato shops there. And I remember vividly sitting on a patio with my grandparents, eating a fresh scoop of gelato. And I thought, this feeling is so good. I want everybody to be able to experience feeling.
Wow. And you did bring that back. Your gelato is just as good, if not better, than the gelato you can get in Europe. So you created that. That's amazing.
That is. And I love that tie back to your memories of your grandparents. And
yes.
Just that feeling. Because food is very emotional, I feel like, for people.
It is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So were you a nurse at the time of this gelato moment with your grandma?
No. So this was all kind of through high school, through my experience at UND. So I kind of expressed desires of maybe making gelato, but looking back, my family was just go be a nurse. We'll take care of the cows. But then I remember sitting in one of my nursing classes and I got a text from my mom and she said mother-daughter trip with a question mark. And it was a link to Gelato University. So there's actually a legit Gelato University in Italy. And they come to the States every now and then to teach like the basics of gelato making. And it happened to be in Chicago. So when I got that text, obviously I should be on my phone in class, but looking back, it was an exciting time.
Yeah.
And I thought, yes, my mom is on board. She wants to make gelato. Like we're going to make gelato. Because my mom,
I love it.
She's kind of the queen of the family household. When what my mom says goes usually.
Okay.
So I had a good feeling. So we learned the basics and we fell in love with the process and thought, how can we make this possible? So that's kind of where everything started.
Wow.
That's cool. So you started with gelato and then moved into your cheese production. Is that correct? Was that the next step?
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, we started Duchessa Gelato and I had just graduated with my nursing degree and I moved to Fargo and I worked in the emergency department at Sanford.
Okay.
We want to make gelato. How are we going to make this possible? As I was working full time. So I needed something that was flexible. So we thought, okay, let's not open up a shop. Let's get a gelato cart. So we got a gelato cart from Italy and we used this cart to cater at weddings, business meetings, farmers markets. Basically anybody that would hire me, I would say yes. So I would work night shifts as a nurse and then I would drive to Carrington.
Oh my.
Wow.
My mom gave up her half of the garage and we renovated it to be a little dairy processing facility. So I'd work in the night as a nurse and then during the day I'd be a gelatier and I'd make gelato and then go to all these events. So that's kind of how the business started. And looking back, it was a really good way to market my product because just imagine every Friday, Saturday, you're at a wedding with 200 to 400 different people. And they're basically forced to have your product because it's what's for dessert. So
that's cool. Good idea.
So smart. Like your business sense really, it's amazing because you have this aesthetic that is unique to you. There's this European, like that gelato cart. Have you seen it? It's gorgeous.
I don't know if I have.
It's so pretty. And it doesn't surprise me that you got it from Italy because I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And then doing the wedding, so smart. And then you need to tell me more about this because when you got into selling the gelato to consumers, you did straight to consumer selling, which isn't, other businesses do that, but your product isn't shelf stable. So I love that you did that and tell me what made you decide to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think looking back, I'm not 100% sure why I chose. I think the biggest thing is, we make the product ourselves. I want to be the one to meet my customers and hand it off to my customers. And I felt super uncomfortable, like going into a grocery store and putting it on the shelf. And then nobody even gets to see me or hear my story when they just see it in the freezer at, say, Hornbacher's. And you guys maybe know, you always think you do things best. So when you bring the product to the customer, I know, okay, this was the journey of this gelato pint and you are the finished, you're the last person to try it. So I know it wasn't like thawed in the grocery store aisle and put back in the freezer,
Right.
So I think I really value, meeting the people that are tasting our products.
That's awesome.
So I think that was the biggest reason. And, we are in Bernie's right now, but of course that's super special because when I was asked to have our product in Bernie's, Molly has done a lot for me personally and to help grow my business too. So I thought I could never say no, and what an honor to have my product in her shop. But that's probably the only place we're going to be sitting for a while other than at our own locations.
Wow. That's exciting.
It is. And it's so smart. And as a consumer, I love that. I love getting the gelato from you, knowing it's fresh. I thought that was so smart of you to do it that way.
So we hear, you use your own family's milk to produce your cheese and your gelato. So tell us about that. Like why did you, or is that part of like why you chose to make gelato and cheese? Because you already had the milk there. It's kind of a family business, right? So talk about that a little bit and like how you partner together. Are they separate? Why did you choose to do that?
Yeah, I think growing up deep down, I always wanted to be a nurse, but I always felt like I wanted to be a part of the family farm.
Okay.
I just had to find a way to be a part of the family farm because I didn't necessarily want to be the farmer. My brothers were both interested. My parents are still very involved. So I thought, how can I make room for myself?
Yeah.
And help, honor my parents for the hard work that they did and took the big jump across the pond to bring their family here for bigger opportunities. My parents and brothers are very passionate about producing high quality milk. So I thought, let's make a really good dairy product to honor their hard work and dedication to the care of their cows. So gelato was just made the most sense because the main ingredient in gelato is whole milk. So it was kind of perfect.
Makes sense.
To make that product with the milk from our cows.
So talk a little bit about that process. You talked about like going to a university, basically to learn it, from the folks, like they traveled all over here. I mean, it seems like
and you called yourself, you said you're a gelatotier. Is that what you are?
A gelatier.
A gelatier?
Gelatier. Okay.
That's official.
Yeah,
wow.
pretty fancy,
I like it.
It is. It's fun.
There's gelatier, they're both pretty cool, but gelatier sounds more cool. I don't know.
You made the right choice.
For sure.
Thank you for making that choice.
Gelato is it's different from ice cream because it's made with more milk. So it's about half butter fat and then twice the protein. And then it's churned slower and warmer. So we take out almost all of the air in our gelato product. So ice cream has a lot of about 70 to 75% air, while gelato is about like 20 to 30. So it's super dense. And when you eat gelato, it tastes creamier because there's like no air. It kind of melts in your mouth really nicely. And then it's served at a warmer temperature. So it doesn't feel as cold when you eat it.
Okay.
So you store it in your freezer like a gelato pint. We always try to tell our customers, put it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes so it gets nice and smooth so you could scoop right through it and it just like melts in your mouth. So you shouldn't have to chew it, unless there's like you got the brownies or the cheesecake.
The cheesecake.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. The cheesecake is very popular.
It's incredible.
I threw that flavor.
And you're making that crust for the cheesecake. You're making all the additions that go in to the gelato?
Oh my.
Yeah. So we try, we really value using ingredients that we make ourselves, fresh fruits. And obviously as we grow, that's been really hard because we do a lot of baking now and making fruit sauces and buying lots and lots of fruit. I need to put up a greenhouse. I was just telling my mom the other day, we need a greenhouse. We make everything, all of our inclusions ourselves. The only things that we do import some things from Italy, like our pistachio and hazelnut. And then we do have some Farina cherries that we get from there as well. And then obviously like the chocolates, the cocos all come from like the Netherlands, Belgian area. So we try, we try to do as much local as possible. But those ingredients are just super hard to find around here. And, Italy and Europe has a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
So we do import things like that.
Okay.
I saw on your website the rhubarb one.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I feel like rhubarb is very North Dakota, like Midwestern, like everybody makes rhubarb. I'm like, that just seems so good.
And the sweet with the tart. It's such a good combination.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how much North Dakotans loved rhubarb till our first summer. And I made a rhubarb swirl or something. And all of a sudden, all these orders came in. And then my husband and I were walking around Carrington, going in people's yards. Do you have more rhubarb? We sold too many pints. Like, I need more rhubarb.
It's a thing. Like, you can just like walk. They're like, hey, who wants some rhubarb? Ours isn't. I mean, and it's just like prolific.
What has it been like with the community in Carrington? Have they embraced this? What's the feedback you've gotten from them?
Yeah, I give a lot of the success that I've had to the community of Carrington. I remember our first little pop-up was on Main Street, and I feel like every single person in Carrington was there supporting us. So, we now do monthly deliveries. Well, not monthly anymore. It's kind of turned into just like holiday deliveries, but Carrington always seems to be the biggest order.
Wow.
And there's only 2,000 people in Carrington, but the support is unreal, and the tight-knit community it's super nice. And everyone's super supportive in everything that we do and continue to be supportive. So I'm very grateful for the community that we live in.
Yes, your parents found the right spot to land in.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about, now I'm curious about cheese. So we talked about gelato and like how you process it and like the ingredients, which I love the protein aspect and high calorie. I'm thinking that I have some folks that might benefit from that and enjoy it, right?
There's still quite a bit of sugar in there, but it's still twice the protein. So
yeah, there you go. Like we can justify anything.
It's all good.
All food's fit.
I tell everybody everything in moderation, right? It's the dessert.
Yes. But that's exactly my perspective. It's like all food's fit. It's just how much and how often that you're eating.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like, so you really can enjoy your gelato.
Yeah.
But 1 pint is 1 serving. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real.
Well, that's funny you say that. Like I had a funny conversation once, like with somebody, I'm not going to name who that was, but like they were standing outside and looking at my fake food. And it was like, why do you have 2 cookies there? I'm like, that's a portion. He's like, isn't it a sleeve? I'm like, no, it's not. Same concept.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to hear more about your cheese journey too, because you really expanded. I mean, you were doing the gelato and then you built this huge new facility for cheese. That was a big endeavor.
And it's Gouda. And it like these big round, like it just looks cool, right?
Yeah. So similar thing. Gouda cheese is a Dutch cheese. And when my mom was my age, she actually went to New Zealand for 6 months and worked with a Dutch family. They were dairy farmers and made Gouda. So she has a little history in Gouda cheese making. And then I went to the Netherlands for about a month. We have some friends that make Gouda cheese. So they kind of taught me the ins and outs.
Cool.
So my husband and I he's a physical therapist. So we were both working in Fargo. We had to make the big decision. Okay, do we want to grow Duchessa gelato? And where do we want to grow it? And we were thinking maybe downtown Fargo, but our hearts were pulling us back to Carrington mainly because, my mom's there and my mom and I are very close and she's very involved. And then the cows, of course, we have to be close to the cows.
Right.
Yes.
They wouldn't be happy in downtown Fargo.
I know. Yeah.
Probably not.
Found an old little farmstead close to the dairy farm that my husband and I purchased. And there was a machine shed already standing. So we actually renovated that to be our processing facility. So we have a processing room where we make our cheese and gelato. We have an aging room where we age our Gouda cheese, and then a commercial kitchen, and then a small cafe because, like I said earlier, I want people to come out and enjoy the gelato on our patio and see how we make cheese, see how we make gelato, and see where the food comes from. So we ended up on this farmstead with this creamery, and we started making Gouda. It was just the easiest call. We wanted to get into cheese, and Gouda cheese is a Dutch cheese. So we wanted to continue that, keeping our Dutch culture and bringing it over to North Dakota.
That makes sense.
It does.
So how long does it take to make, like once you get the milk, how long does that take to make the Gouda cheese? I know like you can age it and I read about that on your website, but talk about that a little bit.
The Gouda cheese process, it's a little bit more or longer than gelato. So we get the raw milk from the farm. We bring it to the creamery. We put it in our big gelato vat. So we use about 680 gallons every time we make Gouda cheese. And that makes about 28 wheels of Gouda. And they're about 22 to 24 pounds each.
Wow.
So it's a lot of milk for, it seems like not a lot of cheese.
Right.
So that's what's nice about gelato. We use all of the milk in our product. With cheese, you get rid of the whey byproduct.
So do you do anything with the whey? Like, cause that's like the primary ingredient in a lot of the protein powders that my athletes use. They're like whey protein. But that's like the quick protein I talk about, like, cause it's absorbed fast. So they have it right after they get done working out. But then the casein is more of a slower protein I talk about. And like both are important, but like, so do you dry it out? Do you sell that? Like, what do you do with it?
Right now we don't. So we would like to, if there was
New market.
a lot hog farmers would love that.
Because the pigs would eat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, you could dry it out and make protein with it. I think that'd be really cool to step into. Or you can make like vodka with whey protein, so that like if you wanted to start a distillery or something, you could use whey protein for that.
Oh my goodness.
Also, in the Netherlands, a lot of people would take it and bathe in it because it's really good for your skin.
Ooh.
So I don't know, maybe we'll have to get into like some lotion or something. I don't know.
Wow. I mean, my wheels are spinning.
Yes.
Heather and I can talk to you after
I
about
did.
our business
Oh,
plans.
I saw us in like a whey bath out at her farm. Is that?
Yeah,
I
you know,
can see
like
it.
it could be like a whey spa or
Mhm.
something.
And we're eating gelato too.
Oh,
Yes.
whey spa. Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it does seem like you're always growing that. You're always thinking of the next thing. What is the next thing for you? You did open up a location in Fargo, correct?
Yes, yeah. So it's a really small outlet in Fargo. We thought, you know, let's give the city folks that don't really know anything about Cows & Co. Creamery a taste of our product in the hopes that it brings them back to Carrington. So my biggest goal and my biggest dream is to bring everybody here. So I think Fargo is probably going to be my only other outlet. A lot of people are like, are you going to franchise? Are you going to grow? And I don't really want to be like Ben and Jerry's. I want to be small and authentic and keep it as premium as possible and have people come to us because, you know, my biggest dream is for people to come to the dairy, honestly, and see how we milk our cows and how well we take care of our cows and where milk comes from, that it doesn't come from the grocery store. It comes from the farm. Right. So yeah, I think I just want to grow our farmstead and maybe like find some more fun things to add on here. I don't know. Like you said, our wheels are always turning and we always have ideas. So
that's wonderful.
We'll see.
You can tell, you have so much joy in your work. You can it radiates and it makes people excited. And I can see why you want to meet with the customers so they can see that joy and they get excited about your products too. And, you know, Heather and I are very excited about anything North Dakota and like the journey there and the thought that goes into products and the dreams that have been realized because of the resources that we have here. So I think your stories are, amazing.
It is amazing, especially where you came from. I mean, your parents have got to be so proud, right? Like they made all these moves with the hopes that the kids would get involved in agriculture. And here you are doing your own thing. And it's huge. I mean, you've been named to Forbes. What was it? Don't be modest.
Don't be modest.
What was the list?
The 30 under 30.
Yeah. Forbes 30. That's huge.
That is
such a big deal.
Congratulations.
You're making big waves. And I love that you're keeping your own vision.
Yep.
You know, when you were saying, oh, people want me to franchise and you're sticking to what you want to do. I love that about you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I definitely, I always say North Dakota is definitely a hidden gem. I couldn't do anything that I do without the citizens of North Dakota. So I'm really grateful for all the support that we've had. And we're going to continue to make good products and put North Dakota on the map.
Nice.
Yes. So people can buy the gelato and the cheese at Bernie's in East Grand Forks. You can also go out to your creamery. And so you're open some weekends, but then you have a shop there that's open. Tell us about the shop that's open. Is it open 7 days a week?
Yep. So it's open every day. So we aren't open all the time because I always tell people, like, they always ask me, why are you open more? Well, you're looking at the gelato maker, the marketer, the delivery gal, the dishwasher when we're open. So we kind of have a small team and we do a lot. So we're open when we can be. Otherwise, we're producing product.
Right.
So we had a lot of people come into the yard and come into the creamery thinking that we were open. So we needed a way to, give people access to our products that are just driving through Carrington. So we renovated a little piece of the old barn, the old milk house. So it's now the milk house on farm store. And it has our cheese and gelato and then some other like home fun, like candles and tea towels. And it's open 7 days a week, 9 to 8. And then it's an honor system. So people just go in, grab what they want. And then they put cash, card, or a check in a little box.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun to see people pull into our yard and know where to go and get products. And everyone's been loyal as far as I know. So it's been good.
Good.
That's amazing.
And that's great for your customers too, because now that you can always go out there and be able to buy something.
Yep.
Right. And I think this summer we're going to maybe put some individual gelato cups in there with lids. And because we have some picnic tables out there so people can come just eat a scoop. They don't have to eat a whole pint if they don't want to.
Portions.
We have some heifers out in the pasture that they can, the kids can look at. And I'd like to put up like a little playground for the kids, but everything I'm just like, the liability. I just don't want anyone to get hurt because all the fun stuff is like,
that's
the
true.
insurance companies don't like the fun stuff.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
That's true.
They can just play in the dirt. They'll be fine.
Right. That's true.
That's what we did. So do you think it's host halftime?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's time for questions.
I can't stop thinking about gelato and
I know,
cheese.
we probably have like tons more questions. But I suppose, I got to earn my trophy back.
Okay, here we go.
Well, I guess you're ready for my questions?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess the first one you're probably going to be able to answer, but what is the difference between gelato and ice cream?
Oh, I said gelato has more fat?
I put higher protein.
Higher protein. Gelato has half the butter fat, so less fat.
Oh, man.
But it tastes, I did say it
tastes creamier.
It does.
But it's not.
It's kind of like the
because you take all the air, take a lot of the air out. So
and you said the thing about leaving it out on the counter, which you've told me to do that before, the fridge thing for 20 minutes. I can't do that.
You can't wait.
I know.
Some
people
I'm
wouldn't
just
either.
yeah.
Instant
when there's
gratification.
A will, there's a way.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Next question. So I didn't tell you this, but the Netherlands is a really small country and it has 17 million people living in it. How many times does the Netherlands fit in the state of North Dakota?
Oh, in the state of North Dakota. That's a lot of people. There are a lot of apartments. Let's see.
It's a lot of people.
Okay, this is a random guess.
I'm gonna say 12.
I'm gonna say 50.
That's a lot, but it's almost 4.
Oh, okay.
So the country of the Netherlands is like a fourth of the size of North Dakota and has 17 million people.
Wow.
So just imagine how many people that is. So you can think of,
that's a lot.
My parents wanting to grow their dairy and they couldn't because it's such a small country.
Yeah, where do you go?
Yeah. Another thing, there's 300 cheesemakers in the Netherlands.
Wow.
So imagine how close all these cheesemakers are.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we need you here. Okay, we don't have 300 cheesemakers.
We don't.
We need you.
That's right. You're our subject matter expert.
Yeah. That leads me to the third question.
Okay.
How many on-farm creameries does North Dakota have?
I wouldn't think a lot. I'm gonna say you're the only one.
I say 4.
We are the only on-farm
Heather!
creamery in North Dakota.
Heather, I'm reluctantly turning over the trophy to you.
Would it be bad if I took the corn out and put gelato in my trophy?
I feel like it's a portion size. How appropriate.
So tell me more about that last question. So you're the only operating, tell me again.
We're the only creamery. So obviously there's Cass Clay Creamery in Fargo, Prairie Farms Creamery.
Yeah.
And then there's also like Pride Dairy.
Okay.
Sure. We're the only creamery that uses milk from our own cows.
That's really cool.
So with your products, you're not using any other milk besides that from your family dairy. That's really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. I love it.
Yes. And is there enough milk to increase supply?
We have so much milk, and you guys are for that when you talk to my brother Pete.
Okay.
Majority of our milk actually goes to Cass Clay Creamery in Fargo. So if you drink milk, you got to grab Cass Clay because there's a really good chance that's coming from our farm.
Before we let you go, I got to ask you one more question. I read somewhere you said Maartje wasn't your real name.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
What's your real name?
So my real name is Wilhelmina Maria van Bedet.
Oh.
In the Netherlands, you get given usually like a grandparent's name. So my grandma's name was Wilhelmina, but my parents have always called me Maartje. And I always just want to tell people, ask my parents. I don't know why I'm Maartje. I just always
my
have been. And really, so my name is, well, it's Maartje. It's pronounced Maartje, but when we moved, people couldn't say that. So I had to change it to Maartje. So really, I have like 3 names, you know,
Okay.
Maartje, Maartje, and Wilhelmina.
So I need to ask your mom about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a Dutch thing because my brothers both also have different names than what they go by.
Really?
But he is Petrus. So it's pretty close. That's kind of like, you know, you wouldn't get Maartje out of Wilhelmina, but, you know, I had that like young teenage phase where I'm like, call me Wilhelmina. Like, I don't want to be Maartje anymore. I'm still Maartje.
You grew out of it. Okay.
Amazing. Well, we have a final question for you too.
Yes.
What's your favorite part of being a part of North Dakota agriculture?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think you're almost like, it's like your family, but you're obviously not family, but it feels like it. I feel like you just look at somebody at the street and you just can feel like they're an egg, you know, like, and you can relate to these people, even though, you know, dairy farming is very different from grain farming, but you all just kind of understand life the same. And I think that's really special to me to be in a state that, you know, really values agriculture and promotes agriculture and does their best to be progressive and innovative and continue to, you know, make the earth a better place by being better farmers and better producers. So I think I'm just honored to be a part of that family, I guess, and continue to work hard and do good and, you know, give back to the state of North Dakota.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
So much.
Well, you're doing it.
Yes.
Well, there's so much to learn about you. We love what you're doing. Thank you for the delicious gelato and the delicious cheese.
Yes.
Yes. And thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the podcast. This is great. I'm really excited for what you guys are doing and letting people hear our stories because this is the best way to do it. Hear it from the producer themselves. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye, Maartje. Okay, that was fun.
That was. Yes. And I'm excited to talk to her brother, Pete.
I want to talk to Pete about the cows.
Yeah, the cows.
And we just need to make sure there's enough milk for all the gelato. Like, we just need maybe have him sign something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Thanks for tuning in to the Common Ground North Dakota podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Most importantly, send us your questions about North Dakota agriculture by visiting our website. You might win a prize. We'll see you in the next episode of the Common Ground North Dakota podcast.